After 2023, a lot of people were worried we would not see another year like that for a while. But then we had games like Helldivers 2 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth come out and let us know this year's just getting started. And with turmoil brewing in the gaming markets, we need to continue to hope it will last. I'm Ben, this is Critical Hit, and today we're bringing you 5 big gaming stories for March. Our top story of this month involves Sweet Baby Inc., the company we all love to hate. Their job is to essentially go into a game and change that game to include more diversity and equity. If something could be seen as racist or problematic, they would aim to, quote, fix it, unquote. And yeah, you can't see me do the quotations, so I had to say it. A lot of people are not massive fans of what they do. They deem them being attached to a project as kind of a canary in a coal mine. There is now a Steam page called Sweet Baby Inc. Detected with close to 100,000 followers at this point, and its sole purpose is to make people aware of which games Sweet Baby Inc. are consulted on. An employee at Sweet Baby tweeted, X now, and wanted everyone to mass report the Steam site and wanted the individual who made the page not only to lose the page, but to get banned from Steam. The tweets of the developer at this point have been deleted, but this is where the story gets really interesting. Normally, studios would love when their work gets shown off, and they get credit for what they've achieved. It's incredible that Sweet Baby Inc. is so terrified and angry at this. They want to do damage control here, and again, this only shows you what games they've had a hand in helping create. Imagine being upset when people know you're involved in a project. But I think I'm just going to leave that there. I do not think anything I could say after that will be as impactful as them knowingly being upset that you've been informed when they're involved in a project. At least they're self-aware of how they detract from a project instead of helping to produce anything. Next up, there's been a lot of discussion about the health of the video game industry. In 2022, 8,500 people were laid off. 2023 saw 10,500, and in 2024, it's already off to a massive start in the same direction. So far, we've seen just over 6,000 being laid off across the entire industry. Now, I don't want anyone thinking I believe being laid off is a good thing. But developer costs are at an all-time high, and they're ballooning even more in recent years by hiring consulting studios to ensure they hit those certain ESG numbers. I'm going to use Insomniac as an example, and not only did they have to pay, of course, to license Spider-Man from Disney, but they also had a lot of demands that had to be overseen, and it all adds up to extra costs. And even though Spider-Man 2 did well, you can start to understand why Sony has not left them untouched in their recent round of layoffs. And yeah, I know there's discrepancy about the licensing, but Insomniac did have a deal with Marvel, or Disney, about this character. I am not trying to imply that ESG alone is what's causing this. The economy is obviously struggling in a lot of countries, and inflation is really showing the cracks in a lot of industries. But gaming seemed to be the one that was unaffected after 2020. That is, of course, until now. But AAA games are evolving, and they need to cut back on costs right now, and they're choosing developers. This is probably not the people who deserve it. It would make the most sense to me to get rid of all those extra costs through the pseudo-regulations and ESG, but time will tell how the industry is going to evolve to continue to be profitable. It definitely looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better at this point. On to our third story, and we covered Final Fantasy VII and them getting rid of their ethics department ad last week. If you want to see our optimistic take on that in Square Enix direction, link for that will be in the description. But what we didn't cover at the time was how Square put an 8GB patch on Final Fantasy VII Remake just prior to Rebirth launching. The patch caused a lot of stir because it was so large for such an old game. Apparently they had to do small tweaks to ensure continuity between games, or that's the official story. That actually makes a lot of sense to me, but a few things got people's heads turning. One was about Aerith, and instead of her saying she misses the Steel Sky, she now says she doesn't like the sky. I have not beat Rebirth yet. I don't know if this actually matters, but it is kind of odd and sounds a little bit worse. The other was that they covered Tifa's chest more in a flashback from Nibelheim. She's only 15 in the scene, so I don't really have a problem with this, but it has rubbed people the wrong way that they would change parts of the story or parts of scenes 4 years after release. What else are they going to change? And that's just what people have noticed so far. It also doesn't help that word got out that Square Enix ethics department had given CBU1 instructions to control Tifa's chest size. But so far in Rebirth, I have not seen the same glaring issues. Again, I covered a topic similar to this in a previous video, and we recommend checking that out if you want to hear more. Next up, we have a story from the VR world, but it ties a bit into our story about the industry struggling. Sony has been going on VR gaming since at least 2016 and was at the forefront when it released the PlayStation VR2 headset, which released in February 2023 and has unfortunately failed to live up to expectations. I like VR games, but they are taking a long time to get to be a viable system. A game like Half-Life Alyx only comes by about once a year and just doesn't seem to be enough to get people on board with VR. Add to the fact, of course, that is a Valve product, and we can start to understand why them not even having a good exclusive game would be a big issue for system sales. But as part of Sony's layoffs, they are now closing the VR-focused PlayStation London and are trying to make it more compatible with PC. It looks like Sony's pulling the plug on its push into VR, for now at least. VR enthusiasts may have to wait for Meta to make a big push into gaming. And that brings us to our last story, and for this I want to talk about a game I've been looking forward to since I played the demo. Overlord Unicorn releases on March 8th and is a great strategy RPG. I played Ogre Battle 64 years back when you rented a system from Blockbuster, and this game has given me the same feeling in battle that I did not even know I missed so much. If you like Fire Emblem games, if you like strategy games, I highly recommend checking this one out. It blew me away, and I've only stopped playing it because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, and I'm actually waiting for the full release of Overlord Unicorn in just a few days. And that's our stories for March. Let us know your thoughts on them down below. If you disagree with me, that's okay. Just make sure you duke it out respectfully in the comment section. Thanks for sticking with me, and if you made it this far, leaving a like and subscribing goes a long way to helping us continue what we do. I'm Pin, you're awesome. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.